Every afternoon at Moe's, Chief Wiggum, Principal Skinner, Apu, and I would get together and sing, and the crowds went wild.
So yeah, we're restarting.
Yo, rubbish, Philip.
Philip,
yo, rubbish.
Welcome back, punks, to another episode of the Pop Culture Punks.
I like seeing our logo on the
Podcast.
screens.
Isn't that pretty cool?
It makes us feel official.
Yeah, we're like legit. We got screens. We're like
We got
B-dubs.
screens.
We're like B-dubs all up in here. Just throw it up on that one too.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Played on the neighbor's
Get a couple
TV.
big old screens there, playing some sports, eat some wings, drink some ranch.
Played in
Except
like
video games.
Oh,
dude,
did you see
video
the-
games, B-dubs, that would be cool. Like a video game centric. Just watching like Let's
I
Players.
still need to open that video game haircut place.
You do.
video game haircut place.
Yeah. All right, pitch it.
Okay.
Oh boy,
You might not relate to this. Are you introverted or extroverted?
extroverted.
Okay, you won't relate to this. But so you know how when you go to the haircut place and you just wish that you wouldn't have to make small talk and you don't have to talk to the person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I relate.
So that's me every time.
Speaking my language.
So that's me every time I go to the haircut place. It's usually just like awkward. I'm like trying to keep up the conversation. It's just weird small talk. So instead of sports clips where you go and watch sports, you have game clips. Name pending. That's not the name. Name pending.
Picture this.
Picture this.
Game clips.
Where instead of watching sports, you play video games. And obviously, you'd have to tailor the video game so you're not rocking all over the place.
I was about to say
playing
when I play
games.
Dark Souls, I whip my head like like they like
And you sound just like that.
they buzz like oh shoot.
Oh,
He chewed your
sorry.
ear off. Jeez, Igor, he chewed your ear off.
chewed your ear off.
I
So
think
that's
it could work.
my idea, yeah.
I think it could work. I hesitate if you were gonna have to cater games to certain play styles because
What
It
if
would have
someone
to be pretty low key gaming. I wouldn't let people play whatever the heck they want.
what if someone starts playing like Doki Doki Literature Club and you're like haircut dude's like you want to play something else?
It's
right.
making me a little comfortable.
I
Like,
don't wanna-
excuse me, you're not supposed to talk to me.
yeah. It
For
says
the
like,
record-
if you talk to me, I get a free haircut.
Ooh, I like
So-
it. If you talk to the person, you're
That's terrible.
It's reaching a specific demographic though, so
A
it's
very
not
specific.
It's not like you're
demographic.
hiring.
Right.
Like the hiring gimmick would be haircutters who also don't like talking to customers. This is the place for you to work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a
It
two-way
works.
deal.
It works
like,
out. It's
people
it's
who
a good
like
deal.
yeah.
I like it.
introverts who cut hair, who just want to cut hair, do their job, and get out. People who want to get their hair cut, just get their hair cut, get out. Then it's like boom. There
And
has
it's
to be
like,
some
boom,
sort of
bam.
system like where you can indicate like I want to talk to people.
Well, and
So
also
it'll be nuanced.
I see the
but-
games being, and I mean, like for the record, Doki Doki Literature Club has got a really. I've talked to Josh before. It's got a very dark and interesting twist to it, but that's something where it's like, what if your hairdresser is like just a normal hairdresser, and then they're like, what the frick is this person playing? Like,
That's funny.
that'd be a little
But yeah, I'd
uncomfortable.
have to cater the games. It'd probably be like simpler games.
What
maybe
would
some
they be?
SNES or something.
Dude, those are just as aggravating.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying
Play
they're
like
not, I'm not
Donkey
saying
Kong
they're not
Country.
hard and stuff. But
Like
I'm
Mi-
just
dude,
saying like
play
they're
like
more
Minecraft.
They're
Have
more
Mi-
low key, and everybody kind of that's Mario. I
Have
know that.
Minecraft.
Ooh,
I mean, that
people
is
could build
honestly-
stuff. It's like serene. There's no like. It'll be creative mode, so there's no zombies coming out.
If you
No.
if you really wanted to go the extra mile, you could have a specific game designed so that when they
They could have a hair clipping game,
and then
while
they
they're
could
getting
cut
their
someone's
hair-
hair
Well-
while you're getting your hair cut.
well. So
V-
hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm changing it.
Okay.
It's VR. You're in VR,
VR haircut.
and you're cutting someone's hair while they're cutting your.
You're
hair.
giving. How about this? You're VR cutting your own hair, so you're looking at yourself.
Oh,
and you get to like.
so you
The
both are
person
wearing
has VR. You have VR. You're
and so
showing them what you
You're
want.
showing them what you want.
Ah, and then
So
they
you
can
get to-
see like the back, and then like they don't have to like show you the mirror and try to angle it. They're just like
exactly.
they just say, "Does that look good?" And you can see the back of your head. You're like, "Oh, if you could like fade it out a little more." Or,
There you go.
wow.
I was
Huh.
thinking you could specifically have a game that's designed for the perfect temperament of the vibe you want to set, And
bouncing
then
ball.
You have
if
to take an IQ test before you come, and we assign you a game based on your IQ
That is no.
and what your emotional temperament is.
Because then if you're low key, they could give you like a low key, but if you're like ramped, they'll still give you a low key because they don't want
Or we'll just
like,
make everybody
clip
play
your
like
ear.
Outlast or something.
Well, that's what I mean. Is you could get a specific game, and then they could have their own save file if they make an account. So then every time they come back, they keep
Ooh.
progressing. So then it gets them to like want to come back to that specific one because then they're like, oh, I have my save file booted up.
Ooh.
You were
So-
right. I cannot relate to this. Like,
Or
I was like, I would
or-
much rather just talk with the person than try to
Or-
figure out a video game.
No.
Well, it depends.
Or
No, yeah, it does.
it's a house service. So you just go to their house, you cut their hair for them. They don't even have to come to your shop. You go to people, they can play the games they want to play, you cut their hair.
Interesting.
But you need some sort of head clamp to keep their head still. Like
Head
the
clamp.
catch is we gotta lock you.
clamps.
The catch is we gotta lock you down.
But
Please
we're
sign
going
this
to-
waiver in case we
Please
do
just
something
sit in.
wrong.
Yeah.
We're gonna strap you to this chair. Just
in your own house.
We're gonna put you in the tiny room, the tiny closet. Don't move. Don't breathe.
Don't
Well,
move,
I'm
don't
gonna cut
breathe.
your hair. My
I like
goodness.
this. I'm doing it.
It's
All
going
right, go
places.
for it.
Speaking of B-dubs, did you see? You saw the text with the ranch soda, right?
No, I didn't see the text with the ranch soda. You're just speaking into the or the
Yeah,
the
so
cup.
there actually was a text where there,
There
was
was,
ranch
yeah.
soda.
Did you see it?
Super
Because
That's what
so
you get.
so there was an April Fool's joke at Epic, and on actually it was on Monday because April Fool's was Sunday.
Yep.
And Jacob texted me. He's like, "Hey, go to this article, scroll all the way down." I'm like, "What is this gonna be?" I go to the article, scroll all the way down. It's like an April Fool's article about how Epic is bringing soda back to campus because they used to sell soda, but they don't anymore. And it's just a joke, but they have all these dumb like flavored sodas and stuff. And the bottom is literally ranch soda, and it's like a bottle of
That's
soda,
nice,
but
yeah.
with ranch in the bottle.
That's an actual thing.
Yeah. Well, at the time I didn't know that, but so that like there's different flavors. One of them was like fridge too long, extra chunky or something like that.
Oh,
God.
And I was like, give me an extra side of that.
Oh no!
I want the chunky.
And so I was talking to my
That's
office
terrible.
mate about it, and he's like, "Oh, I think there actually is a ranch soda." And he goes to like state fairs and stuff, so they have stuff like that usually. And so I like do some research, and I find that there is a ranch soda, and it
Oh my
exists.
gosh!
But the cheapest one I could find was like $15.
Oof.
I was literally gonna buy it and drink it on this podcast.
That'd be
my gosh.
amazing.
But I was like, I don't know if $15 is worth the joke.
That's definitely not worth
I'd
it.
chip in half.
Would you?
I
Yeah.
would chip in.
All right,
nothing.
I'll find it, and we'll do it.
Yeah,
It's not actually.
that'll be our
like-
intro clip.
It's ranch flavored soda. It's not like ranch in a bottle.
Still,
Yeah.
So it's
That's
gonna be
gross enough.
gross, but it's gonna be funny.
I just don't want to
So-
see you. I just don't want to puke in my house. So
Yeah.
we will drink it outside.
We'll do
or
it somewhere.
something.
Yeah,
We'll have a
we'll
garbage
film it
can.
outside, and
Yeah.
It'll be like our own version of Jackass, just drinking soda.
Yeah. Today we got ranch flavored soda pop.
Dude, and then we get Steve come like, it's gross, dude. Oh, dude, that's gross. Freaking
Oh my
disgusting, bro.
Now drink it through your nose. That's real. Yeah.
And then
I was
we
gonna
just
say
give it. It's like,
something
all right,
else,
Steve-O,
but
you, Steve-O,
we'll go
you
with
drink
nose.
it. Steve-O would like drink it while falling off of a building with like
With sparklers on his butt.
with
All right,
sparkles on his
this
butt and a
is-
unicorn
This is the
costume.
firecracker off the ramp ranch drinking soda challenge. I'm gonna ride this bike off this ramp while drinking soda and a firecracker up my nose. Oh, dude. Oh.
That was gross.
Oh, dude, that was so nasty.
It's just flying up the ramp.
Oh my gosh.
Have you listened to the Rogan episodes when he's been on and he's like talking about doing stand up? It's so
Dude, I
funny.
love Steve-O.
Yeah,
He's
Steve-O's
legitimately awesome.
hilarious.
He's hilarious.
But his voice is so jacked up. But it that's
'Cause
what
he's
makes it
literally
funny.
swallowed nails.
I know. Well, he was talking on
Awful.
Rogan because he's talking about he was trying to do stand up and break into the stand up circuit. And he's getting really deep with like and like insecurity whatever. And he's like, but his voice is just like
Yeah, man, it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to do stand.
It's like you're like I can't take you
you're like,
seriously.
oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. But
Oh, that's hilarious.
Nice.
so we got an email.
We did. Yeah.
Is
Yeah?
it someone we know or is it a stranger?
Someone
It's
we
a
know.
stranger.
Oh.
We should have just said it.
It's one of my coworkers.
Yeah, he's
His name's Swaggy Pank.
Swaggy
Pain Train,
Oh.
Stinky Pinky.
Jakey Poo.
that's the new one, Stinky Panky.
Stinky Pinky.
He's gonna be so
J.
salty. He's like, I'm never listening to this
I'm
ever
never
again.
listening.
Yeah, no, he like heard that is like, I'm done. And turned it off.
Oh, God.
He's gonna like leave a review on iTunes. Like, I used to love
Please
this
do.
show until they called me Stinky Pinky.
Stinky Panky was the last straw.
So actually, I should go to the. Let me get the email up first, and then we'll go to the questions.
We appreciate your
email
emails regardless, whether you're a stranger or a fellow
It's just
friend.
serendipitously, they have all been
Serendipitously.
friends of ours. But
Yeah.
if you are even remotely connected to the show, please send us an email. We'd love to
Yeah,
hear from
whoever
you.
you
Even
are.
if you aren't connected, send us an email.
Exactly.
I agree.
If you've never heard the podcast, please send us an email.
Please send us an email.
If you're not listening
If
to
you've
this,
never
send
listened,
us an email.
it's like some question on like quantum physics. We're like, I
can
know
answer that.
gravity exists. So here's the email. It literally starts out it's from Stinky Pink.
Stinky Pink. That sounds so bad.
Stop. All right, it literally says some excellent question fro you guys to answer on the pod. :
Also, let me preface this.
Yes.
So Jacob and I were getting lunch, and he's like, "Okay, after lunch, I'm going to my desk, and I'm sending you the email." He didn't send us the email till the next day, like at the end of the day. I was
That's
like,
okay.
"Okay, Jacob,
We'll still give him his stickers.
Yeah.
Phil's got your stickers, me boy. So it's all good.
me boy,
Me boy.
me boy."
Number 1. Who was your favorite college roommate? Specifically Phil and Josh. Winky face.
Oh.
He's trying to bait us.
It's a leading question.
It's leading,
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, you had roommates when you were in Tokyo, right?
Technically, yeah.
So you
Yeah,
can.
I had to like. Well, I only had. Well, no, there was a point where it was like, it was just me and 2 other guys, and then the last week it was all 5 of us in one room.
oh gosh.
It was fun though. It wasn't that bad.
Who is your favorite?
Who's my favorite? Oh, that's hard. I think I want to say my friend Tyler, because he and I would just like, our dichotomy was just funny because so like for the first 3 months it was me, him, and then our friend Parker was on the upper bunks, but we were on the lower bunks. And him and I, during the time, we were both 18. My friend Parker was like in his 20s, so he was probably just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm stuck with children." But it would literally just be like every night when we would come back from like some event and we were still like hyper or whatever, it would just be us 2 like making jokes and making fun of Parker or making fun of ourselves and just doing stupid stuff. I'm trying to remember one of my favorite moments with my roommates of all time was both we woke up before our friend Parker did. And I need to find the picture. It's one of the best things ever. We both woke up and we were like, "Parker, it's time to go." And he like slowly rises out of his bed and he's got this sleeping mask, but it's got like anime eyes on it. And he just like looks at us and he's like, "All right, I'm coming."
That's awesome.
I need to find it.
That's great.
It was too funny.
While you look for that, what's your answer, Phil? Who's your favorite college roommate?
Josh Brusco. No, I did that because
I'm literally in the room.
yeah, you were my roommate. That's for sure. No,
That is a fact. You were my roommate. That's
yeah,
funny.
That's true. No, I feel like all of my roommates were my favorite. It's like a cop out, but
That was gonna
at
be
the
my
same time,
answer.
like I feel like each one of them brought a different thing to my life. The worst one of all was probably Jacob, but
he's
No.
definitely not listening.
yeah, he's out.
He's done.
No, yeah, it was. I would say all of them to some extent.
Definitely.
It's a cop out.
What were like your favorite memories? Maybe with like a favorite memory with each of them.
Isn't that a question like down low?
Is
or
it?
something?
I
Well,
don't
what is
know.
your favorite? My
There's
answer
best
to that.
college memories.
My answer to
question
that
two.
is the answer to that question, so we'll save it.
Okay, gotcha. I'd have to say the same. I loved all my roommates. They were all very, very, very different, and I did crazier, very, very, very different things with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like freshman year, Austin and I tried to fly with a bed sheet behind DeJope one year, or like in the spring because it was so windy out. And there were literally people lining up in DeJope like cheering us on. it was a very to this day I still don't know what compelled us, but we like I think had both just come back from class, and it was windy literally to the point where you were like getting knocked to the side when you were walking down the sidewalk. We were like, man, it's stupid windy out. Then we looked at the bed sheet on our futon and we were like, we're gonna try and fly. Are we gonna try and fly?
That's like a seminal college story.
you find
right
it?
This
there.
isn't the picture. This is like part of 4 other pictures, but the one in the upper left.
Oh,
So we just see him like slowly. And we didn't know he had this bed mask on, so he just slowly rises on the bed, and we see him with that.
He's like, I'm coming.
And he's like, I'm coming.
That's funny.
Oh,
Let's see. Sophomore year with Swags. One of my favorite things is he's gonna hate me for telling this story, but we played odds, and there were like 5 other guys who were hanging out. It was like Johnny Behave, Jay Brits.
Johnny Behave.
We used to call him Johnny Behave. We'd be like, Johnny Behave.
Behave.
But so it's Johnny Behave, Aaron, and then 3 or 4 other guys from our floor that we had connected with, and so we were really bored on like a Saturday night. We were just hanging out, and we for some reason started playing odds over like dumb things, and then we had this hilarious idea where we were gonna play odds to like whoever lost the winner got to shave something into the other person's chest hair and stomach hair.
Oh no.
And so Jake and I ended up choosing to do it, and we went back and forth, and then I won, and everyone like lost their minds. It was fantastic. And
That's
so
great.
I still have pictures of it.
what'd you shave in?
So I shaved the Retro Brewers logo onto his stomach, and it was
Oh, that's
fantastic because I just remember him telling me, he's like, I hate you. and I was like, what happened? So he would like go to the showers, and he'd be like walking in the showers in his like basketball shorts and stuff, and people would be like, what the heck is that? He's like, I lost the bet. so that was
Nice.
yeah.
Oh,
so
that
that's
reminds me of so
like
many memories.
that's one of like my all-time favorite memories, because I think that just culminated that entire year for us, which was just staying up way too late, doing ridiculous things that weren't harmful for anybody, but like when you were, if you were to like tell people like, yeah, we used to joke and go in the stalls and hold hands while we pooped, like people would be like, like, what's wrong with you? So yeah, so things like that. Junior year, Ruben and I did this thing where there was a vine where this kid's coming into a lecture hall, like a college lecture hall. The professor yells at him, what are you doing coming into my class late? And he's just like looking around confused. And this one guy on his left stands up and holds a basketball, like a mini basketball hoop over his head. And then the guy on his right like stands up and like jams his head down and like dunks on him. And the entire lecture hall just goes nuts and is like screaming. It's fantastic. Awesome. So we saw that and we thought it'd be hilarious if we started trying to like dunk face people in the dorm on our floor when they were walking down the hall and stuff. So we would do this thing where we'd like ambush people, where I'd have the hoop and I'd like come out of someone else's room, like while someone was walking down the hall, and like Ruben would dunk on him. So there's this one kid we were trying to get super bad because he was kind of like the punk that everybody loved. And so he was coming down. I was waiting on like the far end of the hall. So I'm like watching out of the corner and I see him come past the door. So I like sneak out and I'm starting to walk down the hallway. And he's walking, doesn't know anything. But then Ruben missed his cue and he came out too soon. And so Ruben comes out and he kind of has the ball like tucked behind his back, but he clearly looks suspicious. So the guy like turns around and sees me like walking towards him with the hoop. And then Ruben just starts like running at him and he's like, no! So he like threw Ruben out of the way and he literally locked himself in his room for like an hour and like didn't come out. So for like a whole hour, like every few minutes, because he lived just like he was the corner room from us. We would just go and like knock on the door, be like, "Hey Ryan, you coming out?" Like, we're waiting for you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fun story that I can share.
Do it.
A roommate story. So like, I loved every guy I lived with while I was in Japan. Like, our house we had a perfect balance of like, we would have fun, but we never took it over the top where like stuff got too out of hand or whatever. It was just like the perfect balance. It was like a house of dudes, and it was always fun and at good terms with each other. So I was infamous for being the gassy one of the trip, obviously.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons.
And my friend Tyler was so sick of it. He was like, I was not well, this is what happened. So unbeknownst to me, my friend Tyler was plotting against me and was like, I'm gonna fart in his face when like he's laying in bed or something like that. So he said this is how it played out. Is he like, my pillow, like where I was laying my head, was facing like the door to the kitchen. So he like flung open the door, just aimed his butt right where my head would be, let one rip, And then he heard, instead of my voice, he heard, "Excuse me?" And it was our leader, Andre. He just like blasted it. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, Andre, I'm so sorry." and then I walked in like 2 minutes later, like, what happened?
So it's basically a fart by shooting that hit the wrong target.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Unintended target.
That is great.
Oh, I can just imagine that like intense opera music playing as he's like running in. It's like,
"Excuse me?" Oh my
Excuse
gosh.
that's awesome.
Hope he doesn't mind
hilarious.
me telling that story.
No,
It's a
that's
fun.
okay.
It's such a guy like guys living in with
Oh,
each other. in the
it's
room
absolutely. Like I said, like John and Jake used to hold hands while they were pooping. Like that was like
They also
like one of them would be
Yeah.
like putting their hand like their open hand, their free hand under the stall. They're like, "Hold my hand," and he's like, "No, stop it." There's like while there's people in the bathroom.
Hold my hand.
It's like, "Hold my hand." It's like, "No, I'm not
Gosh.
holding your hand."
I could not do that. I'm very poo shy.
Yeah.
Sounds like Jacob.
Another one funny thing, just because we're talking on the subject, they gave me a nice surprise. My friends Tyler and Parker, who are my two roommates, apparently I was also being so gassy in our room, they started their own Twitter account, and so every time I farted, they would post like some haiku poem or some like tweet related to farting. So they like cataloged me showing farts. And literally, and when we went to, I wish I remember the name of it. I need to ask them so I could look it up again. There was literally, so we went to another country. We went to the Philippines for part of the missionary trip. And they were like, "Zach, we wanted to like save this for Christmas as a Christmas gift." They're like, but like, just because like circumstances and stuff, like I was just kind of feeling down. They're like, "We wanted to send this to you to cheer you up." They showed me this Twitter post. I'm like, "What is this?" They were like, we tried keeping like catalog of your farts every time you farted, but we could not keep up." And my friend Parker like had his hands to his face. He was like, "It was too much." It was He was like, "We could not keep up with it."
So basically, every time they heard you fart, they would tweet.
They would tweet basically. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Some like existential thing about like it was always like some like seemingly deep post, but it was about farting basically.
That's
Oh my gosh.
fantastic.
Oh.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Tyler and Parker, I miss you guys.
Oh,
wonderful men.
jeez. That's hilarious.
Roommates are great.
They
Roommates,
are.
Yeah.
I kind
They
of
are.
like I'm living by myself this year in a really nice room, but at the same time, like it's nice to like go home and have my own space, but at the same time, like I kind of wish
Just
I
like the crazy things like that.
well, because
that I
sometimes you do
miss.
get an awful roommate. That
Yeah.
has happens, but I think like for all of us, we've all had the fun experience of like living with cool
Mhm.
people
Yep.
and
Yeah.
forming just awesome relationships. So
Yeah.
Your story reminded me of a couple memories of Jacob from freshman year.
Oh boy.
He's probably not going to like me telling him but I'm doing it.
well, he
anyway.
shouldn't have asked the question about roommates.
On the
He knew
spot.
what he was getting into.
Sorry, Jakey.
So freshman year, so I don't remember who it was, but somebody sent Jacob like a package for like Easter or Halloween or something, and it was like a Smurf costume, but it was a child-sized Smurf costume. And what does he do with it? It's Jacob. He put it on. So I have a picture too. I don't know where it is right now.
please.
But I've held it over his head for like the past 6 years. He literally puts it on. It only fits on his legs, and it's like kind of up here. And he's got nothing else on but a tight Smurf costume. And I just have a picture of him standing there like this, like looking super angry about it.
Oh
Because he's like, I
gosh.
should not have done this.
That's incredible.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I'll find the picture and
just-
I'll show you guys.
I just remembered too. One of my other favorite memories with Jake was Luke, John, and I went to the Big Ten championship football game, and I remember we were still obsessed with WrestleMania when we were there. So we literally were like playing WrestleMania in the hotel room that we were in before the football game. So that was fun. And then I remember afterwards we like ordered pizza, and we went with this weird college. There's this guy, like it was his own college kid. He was like running his own business of basically busing people to games like this, and he and a bunch of the other people he had booked like basically stole our pizza and ate it because they had also ordered pizza, and we're like, "Hey, did like a pizza guy come down here earlier?" They're like, "Yeah, he like gave us a whole bunch of pizza. Like, yeah, I think he gave us more than we ordered," and we're like, "That was definitely ours." So they like ate our
they,
pizza. Like, "Oh, you can have this one." So it was like,
Oh, they didn't even like pay you
No,
back?
no.
Oof.
Yeah,
I
and
would-
that guy still owes us all like $50. So
Dude, what the heck?
yeah,
That's
so
terrible.
we're freaking out.
Don't trust college upstart businesses.
yeah, basically. Yeah. So
That's
that's
great.
another fun memory. or him and I starting the yes chant. Like, people don't know this. This is the funniest thing to me. So with Navs, we started the like at
We ticked
events.
off so many people. With
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's so funny.
was
But
so
at
great.
events, he and I just would start going, yes, 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 yes. And so for the longest time, then like when they would, they'd be like, all right, now so and so is gonna come and tell us about the Anna. Yes, 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 and it just grew and grew and
People
grew.
literally did that at the Weekender. Like
Yeah.
when all the other campuses
Yeah.
were there, they'd be like, and UW Madison.
Yes, yes, yes. Just like, and nobody knew except for him and I and a few other people. Nobody knew that whole thing started because him and I every Tuesday night we'd come home from class and WrestleMania would be on. And Danny O'Brien, we saw him a few times and we saw him doing that chant and we thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So we just started doing it. And then we just
caught on
followed.
so
Yeah, they
well.
had no idea what it was from. We were
Oh,
like,
that
it's
was-
literally from WrestleMania.
That was a fun era.
So yeah.
was
Oh
fun.
gosh, there was crazy things like that.
Swaggy P. Oh,
Yep.
another year for that same year for Halloween.
I know this story.
So
too.
it was Jacob, me, and Luke, I think, and we were going to the firehouse when like Chris Lynch lived there. We were going there for the Halloween party for the Navs, and Luke dresses up as Ash Ketchum. Him and I created like these dope like duct tape Pokeballs. So he dressed up as Ash Ketchum, and I was just like a cool trainer or something like that. And then Jacob couldn't figure out what to do.
He put on the Smurf costume.
No, that would have been funny too. But so he's got this red fleece and he's just like tying it around his neck to be funny, like, I'll be a superhero. And I'm like, you kind of look like Captain Underpants right now.
Oh no.
And he's like, I'm going as Captain Underpants. No. But it was like cold out, so he wore his real clothes to the party or whatever. And we like go upstairs and he's
I picture it way too well.
so we go upstairs and John Thompson, he was one of the older
Oh, I
guys.
remember
think
John,
he
yeah.
graduated the year after that, but I think he lived there too. And we go upstairs with him. We're still like these freshman newbies, like whatever. We go up to the room and he's like, we gotta show you Jacob's costume, like, come on. And we get up and Jacob's just in his underwear with a red fleece tied around his neck. He did not think it was funny. He was like, you're not going down there like that. We're like, oh man.
Oh. But he's Captain Underpants.
That's what we did.
Oh my god.
Oh,
it
that's
was one of the
hilarious.
funniest memories from that year. Oh my god.
Oh man,
That's amazing.
all these stories
Sorry,
that have been
Jacob.
dear, we love you, buddy.
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah.
He's like,
I've got other ones too from when he stayed in my bed that one night.
we won't say that.
We
one.
won't talk about that. I've already told Evan about it, so
No, I literally like. Dad sometimes will literally be like, how's Jake? Like my dad, shout out to you, Jake. My dad like always is asking about you. He's like, man, there's no one like Jake Fink. So
yeah.
I always think it's funny. But oh my gosh, it made me laugh so hard. I was thinking because I said memories for Austin, Jake, Ruben, and I don't know, like you and I didn't do anything like crazy. We just did,
started
like,
a
quick trip
podcast.
runs. That was like
That
that's
was
our
crazy.
that was our crazy memory. We
Yeah.
started recording. We were like, hey, we have a mic. This is a good idea. Here we are.
I feel like that like the year that we were actually roommates, we didn't like hang out much because I was like working
It was
a lot
wild,
and stressed
yeah.
out, and you were stressed out with all your crap, and then
all
for
your
half the
crap
year-
you had to do.
yeah, all your crap, and then half the year you were like gone and stuff. So
Basically.
but we hung out and played Mario Tennis before.
Yeah.
And I
Did those
mooched
some
off
good-
of you and whatnot. So
Those some good
We've
times.
got some good times.
Yeah.
Other times I mentioned in here is late night quickie tea runs.
Oh yeah.
The days that we would go to Quick Trip literally 3 or 4 times a day. I remember one time I went 3 times in one day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my god.
And I went with, I think me and Busco went all 3 times. And the same guy checked me out every time. He must have been working a 12-hour shift because I saw
Oh,
the same
God,
guy every
that's-
time checked me out.
You wonder if they're just like, I feel like for different jobs like that, you just get in you're in your mojo where you're just like checking people out, don't even pay attention, but then it's
So one guy recognized me once. He like mentioned something about my hat. He's like, I've seen that hat before. Like,
I was in here
recognize
20
you. I'm
minutes
like,
ago.
oh gosh.
I
Not
eat breakfast,
today.
lunch, and dinner here every day.
Yeah. It was
Steamed
at the
hams.
Pentagon.
Steamed
I remember
hams.
when it first opened, like they had so many deals, so
Yup.
we would go there all the time. And then what they wanted exactly happened, that we just went there like every day.
Well,
Sometimes.
like you have like 6 dudes living in our house senior year, or at least for me.
Like, are we going to Quickie Tea?
Yeah, it's like we going to Quickie Tea.
Somebody would get home from class and we would just be like,
Go to Quick Trip?
Quickie Tea.
Yeah.
And be like, no doubt.
Like,
everybody,
absolutely.
like, even if nobody wanted anything, we'd all just go, and then nobody would buy
Yeah,
anything. We'd be
everyone-
like, wait, why do we come here?
We would just make this
Yeah.
expedition.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was
fun.
Those are a lot of good memories.
Definitely.
All the donuts and ice cream and
I'm trying to think of some
the
of the
causes
other.
of my diabetes.
I remember.
No regrets.
I remember one of my other favorite memories. We were playing this game. So, question 2 is your best college memory. I don't know if I have like a best college memory. I have some that I just like I specifically remember as just being really, really, really funny. One of them was we were in Chadbourne playing. It was called like Werewolf. So it was basically like Mafia, but just with like different rules
Yeah.
and use
I
cards
think I
to
was
like
there
give
for that.
tasks. So one of the things was like, one of the cards was like sheriff or something, where you got to kill someone of your choice. There was like lovers, where if you die, then this other person that also has this card dies.
Little girl.
And then
Little
there's
girl.
I can't
That's
remember.
one
There's
of
like
them.
something
Little
else. But so what happened was it was Johnny Behave. So it was like a whole big group, and there was this like crazy sequence where one person didn't get killed. We all elected to kill someone else. And
That was
then-
me.
Was
I was
it?
the little girl, and everybody was turning on me, and I'm like, I'm not the bad guy.
I think I remember, and then-
I think Austin Doro was the actual werewolf, and he turned on. He
got
got everybody to kill me. I remember that.
And then, like, because of that, like, you got killed, and then somehow I
Yep.
got killed, and then John, he and I were linked, so then we both died,
Yep.
and then Jacob
Yep.
immediately started laughing at him, and then John, in the moment, was just like, guess what, Jakey boy? Throws down his card, he's like, I'm the sheriff, you're dead. For no reason, just killed him on the
I was
spot.
absolutely there. I remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
amazing.
I haven't laughed. Like that was one of the
Guess
times
what,
I heard. He was like, "You're dead too," and just for
Oh.
no other. He was like, "You can't do that." He was like, "I'm the sheriff," and so he just was like, for no reason, killed
Oh
him. I
my
thought that was the
gosh.
funniest thing.
That's awesome.
That's one of my favorite memories. And then Smash Bros. Like every Friday night freshman year.
I remember
just like every Friday.
I visited
Yeah.
that one year you guys
Yeah,
did it.
Chad board.
Yup.
Chad board.
Yeah, it was.
Chadbourne. I remember going to Johnny B and Mark's.
Yup.
That was one of my
Just
favorite
playing.
memories.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was
I
good.
I remember. Excuse me, because I actually beat. Who did I face? Did I fight? Did I beat Timmy that one time when we played?
I think we
Ninja?
were playing that one guy. I can't remember his name, but
It was
he used
yeah, no,
to-
it wasn't Timmy. It was someone else though.
No, but he used to swing by like if we were playing, and he was like stupid good. Probably one of the best Smash Bros. Players I've ever played against.
And I remember I was still like a non or I was a wee.
sophomore.
No, I'm trying to think of the word for like. I was a newbie high schooler basically, and I remember beating him twice. And I was like, "Are you proud?" I looked at Josh because Josh had always criticized me for my skills in gaming. I was like, "You proud of me, Dad?"
Am I a man yet?
Oh.
Am I grown up?
I'm trying to think of I'm kind of the same way of just like all the fun I think every after Navanight activity that we did,
I feel like
Just
most
always-
of the, Navs is
always
like,
something
a lot of the
funny
memories
always
are tied to
happens.
that.
Yep.
the one memory I do remember specifically is during one of our Bible studies. It was with you. It was when you were leading. We pulled out the pigeon version, the pigeon
that was-
translation. And like,
Okay, so
yeah,
for
that's
context, like I had been trying so hard the whole year to like maintain order because in Bible studies previously, like it would just get into chaos. But it's the last Bible study of the year, and like
Well, and also
he
Adam
starts
wasn't.
doing the-
Also, Adam wasn't.
Adam wasn't
either.
there. Like, yeah, he was like the official leader kind of, and I was just like, I was
You
the
were there.
front.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we somebody mentions the Pigeon Bible. I think it might
I
be
think
you,
it
or
was Graham. It was
and
Graham,
Graham
yeah.
starts reading it, and it was funny because Graham cannot do the accent at all. It was hilarious. But then he starts doing it. And I'm like, all right, we're not getting anything done today. And he read like then we went around. One person would read in the Pigeon Bible, and then another person would read like the Message, which is also funny. And it would just like alternate. And then by the time we were done, and then somebody like joined us, like
No,
to
yeah.
view like
Oh,
how we did it. I'm like,
I
this is
remember
awkward.
because I was doing it, and then all of a sudden I looked at Graham and someone else just had these like horrified expressions.
Yeah,
on their
like
face.
because you were sitting behind.
Yeah,
facing
someone
the door,
was
and I
coming
can
da-
see her walking down. I'm like,
Well, but at the time I thought it was our like youth leader, Jeff, and so I was doing the voice, and I was like, and then God sent to the oh.
Can you read it?
I can. I can pull it up if you want.
Yeah.
It was one of it was a great end to the year. It was like I was like, all right, we've been doing good this year. We're just gonna goof off.
Like, who
'cause
cares?
It was oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
It was-
Man.
I don't think we laughed so hard that night.
And it's funny because it's not even like a Hawaii. It's like literally an African accent.
Yeah,
But-
or like
okay.
Jamaican kind of.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it and reading it, and I couldn't believe.
What's a verse you want to do or book?
What's a funny one?
We'll do-
The 10 Commandments are always funny.
Yeah, do that.
All right.
Yeah, do the.
let's see
Well, I was gonna say maybe something with like Job. That'd be kind of.
Job.
And God
God
smelt
dang.
Porjo with
What was the
better
one,
bars
what was the
all
one
over
that
his body.
Graham read that was like something about love to the max or
I
something?
don't
like
remember.
that?
Oh, it's too. All right.
Because
What,
the way Graham does it is just so funny.
okay, I found the exact website I used when we were reading it. What book was it from again? It was in Genesis, wasn't it? No, Exodus.
Which one? Exodus 20 or 21?
AKA Out of Egypt. Is it Exodus 20?
I think it's 20,
Okay. Let's see.
possibly.
Load. Yep, the 10 Commandments.
The 10
All right, Sherry. All right, here we
for
go.
it.
Did God say all this? Number 1, this me, Yahweh. You are God talking. Was me when get you guys out of the Egypt land. You guys were slaves. You don't go take all the gods for you. Cause me, I the only God for you. Number 2, no gonna make idol kind of gods for yourself. That look like anything from up there, that inside the sky, or from down here on top of the earth. No, go. No, you're number 3. No, go use my name and act like that. Give you the right for that kind of stuff. Cause I Yahweh, and anybody use my name for go do any kind of stuff. No way I gonna let them go on any punishment. Oh my god. No, okay. No, this is the best one. Number 6. No go murder nobody.
Oh my sides.
Now imagine we did that for like an hour.
We didn't know that was literally our whole Bible study.
We basically were taking recommendations by the end of it. Like, all right, what's a verse somebody
It's really
wants
good
to
verse.
hear?
It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that memory.
That was one of
Oh
my.
my
That's
gosh.
probably one of my favorite memories.
That was a great closeout for
Oh,
Cats that year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Glad you liked it.
Don't go down
Breathe.
to murder nobody.
Go don't murder nobody.
I just I don't know if you guys remember. I can't. It's like Pearls Before Swine. I think is the comic.
Oh yeah, I remember that
And
one.
there's these gators. There's these alligators that spoke like that, where they
Yeah.
were like, "This a man there, that's a Bill Gates, yeah." And so like they had like a Jamaican, like they were written to sound like they were Jamaican, and it sounded exactly like that.
Yeah.
But then they'd be like talking about how they're gonna like eat the other characters and stuff like that. So
was a
it
good
just,
comic
it was
strip.
just funny, but
Oh,
my gosh, that was hilarious.
How
Man,
can we
I
go
can't.
on?
And there's so many other. College is just such a. I remember because this. We'll get a little personal for a second. A little story time. Like when I was in Japan, I remember being like, I just want to come back here as soon as possible. I don't really want to deal with college as a concept, just because college can suck a lot in some areas. And so
Good save.
yeah, very good save. And so I remember being like, I don't want to put up with that kind of stuff. But then I remember it was our friend Matt-san, who extended the offer to like live in the Japanese language house. And it was kind of through that, like realizing, and then looking back now, it's like all the fun stories that happened and like all the friends I've made. It's like, yeah, the school part, the academic part sucks unless you got cool classes. But at the end of the day though, like it is a crazy wild time, and it's so specific to college only. Like
Yep.
you'll have fun memories obviously when you get older, but like those stick with you.
They don't happen as frequently.
They don't happen as frequently.
or as randomly. You kind of have to like plan it out.
Yeah. So go to school.
Go to school, go to college, have fun, but also study.
If you're not going to school, stop it. Get some help.
go to school,
Michael
stay
Jordan.
cool.
Chicken Mac Nuggets.
Should we speed through these last 3 questions so we can
Yeah.
get to the content, boy?
We haven't even gotten to the content yet.
I know.
No.
We're at 40 right now.
Ooh, wow.
So
we could just make
do
this a
like
joke
quick
podcast.
answers for the next 3, and then we'll do some quick news updates.
Yeah, I
and-
honestly like I don't have a ton of like I was trying to think really hard about I hate boss fights. I don't know if I've ever experienced a game where
Yeah, I kind of reinterpreted his question for myself.
Is it a
I
final
just
boss or
can't-
just any
I think
boss
just
fight?
however you define best, most fun, best difficult. I think
Okay.
boss. It doesn't need to be end boss. So I'm trying to think of like boss fights in
You
games.
actually enjoyed?
Yeah, I don't know.
I hate the concept of boss fights
Yeah,
because it feels like you're only working towards like a certain end goal rather than like. Because I was thinking like all of the games that I enjoy. I mean, BioShock kind of has boss fights, but like not really, and Fallout kind of does, but not really. Like distinguished boss fights, and it's hard to think of.
I can think of some.
I
got a
have.
couple. Because
Yeah.
I personally love boss fights in games. Well, not all the time. That's not true. Because like some games have a thing where like certain bosses are just uberly difficult, and then like you get to the final. That's like Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is like that, where like the bosses in the very beginning are just ridiculously hard, but then the final boss is like a cakewalk. So the system's really weird. But speaking of Kingdom Hearts, the final boss in Kingdom Hearts 2, Xemnas, is one of my favorite boss fights of all time. It was super hard and it was super difficult, but it was fun. Like the setting's awesome. It's just this like white void with these, vines going around and stuff, and then you're fighting with Riku. So it's like the two of you fighting them and stuff like that, and you switch back and forth between the two characters. But there's this one scene, and I remember showing it to people and being like, I love insanity. My favorite thing in a boss fight, especially a final boss fight, is the climax building up to it and paying off with just this like epic proportion huge thing. And literally the final part of the boss fight is Xemnas like kind of zooms out of the area and just like swipes his hands, and then like you and Riku are just surrounded by this like massive dome of just like like laser line things like pointing all at you, and then all of a sudden both of them just go back to back, and you have to like spam triangle and X, and both of them are just like for good like minute and a half, just this awesome sequence of just like deflecting all this stuff and spinning around, dude, all this craziness, and I was just like, yes, more. That was a lot of fun. That was a good like climactic fight that just paid off in the end. And the Elite Four too. I always love fighting.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
always
say the
love fighting
original
Pokemon
Elite
Champion.
Four.
I'd say any Elite Four champion.
Yeah.
I think specifically Steven, just because Ruby and Sapphire are my favorites, and that was like the first champion I fought, and that was just such a cool fight because I loved Steven as kind of a character, and then also his Pokemon too.
I just
awesome,
loved
so-
wrecking Gary. Like, boom, I crush you. Smell you later, sucker.
Smell you later.
Smell you later.
Yeah.
I actually have two, so I think I have a most nostalgic and a most satisfying. So nostalgic would be Cerberus from Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh yeah.
I remember in like 3rd or 4th grade staying overnight at a friend's house, and I think it was Dom,
Yeah.
and he and I like had been playing through the Coliseum. We were like, oh, this game's so cool, and he was like, man, but I just can't beat this boss here. And we were like, all right, well, let's try it. And we kept trying, and then we were like, all right, this is dumb. So we like went and played basketball or something. And then we came back the next morning and we fought him, and we ended up winning. And I just remember that was the first time I think I ever felt the rush of, oh my gosh, I beat this freaking thing. But I was like 4th grade, so it's just like, yeah. And then I think recently, probably the most satisfying thing was satisfying yet simultaneously incredibly infuriating was the second boss in Bloodborne, Father Gascoigne. He's just like
Any Bloodborne bosses.
well, he specifically, because the first one you fight is pretty easy to kind of get around. There's some exploits to just, it's so big that you can basically hide under him and his arms like can't hit you. Father Gascoigne is another hunter, and so you literally are going toe to toe with another person who's faster than you, has the same attacks as you, and can deal way more damage. And then at the end of his cycle, with like a third of his health bar, basically hulks out and turns into this monster that like can kill you in about 2 hits.
Yeah.
So it took me literally, I think I kept a tally. I think it took me 25 attempts to beat him.
Dang.
And I was livid. But then I finally beat him after like looking up theories and like things to do if you just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, yeah. And then I did it, and I was like, yes. But I think I pretty much
remember 2 more
stopped after that.
that were really good. Fighting, I won't spoil what it is because it's a spoil for Undertale, but the final boss in Undertale, because like the game is set up that you it encourages you to do multiple playthroughs and runs, and on the second run, the final, like the true final boss or whatever, was like uber satisfying. Like I was just hooked onto my screen, just like I remember staying up it was literally this whole sequence that happens. I remember being like, all right, I'm just going to play for like another 15 minutes and stop. And then like the story just got so intense, I ended up playing for like another 3 hours just because like I wanted to finish it and it was such an awesome boss fight. The other one, because Wind Waker is one of my all-time favorite games, fighting Ganondorf in that is like, uber dope. The build up to it, and then like that is one of the coolest finishing moves. And I mean, like, spoiler, but Wind Waker's been out since 2002, so get caught up with the times. Literally the way he ends the fight as he like slashes, jumps up and like does like his classic down move into like Ganondorf's face. And I mean, there's no blood obviously, but he legit stabs him in the head, and it's a E-rated game. And it was just like, yes,
Brutal.
power.
Brutal.
You said Elite Four, Philip?
I actually put some of the DLC from Fallout New Vegas. It's less boss fights and more like psychological mind games that they play with you, and so it's kind of just like the way that you progress through the DLC. I think it's Dead Money might be what it's called. It's like you're basically trying to get to this guy. You never end up actually like fighting him, but like the whole DLC is kind of you fighting against him, his traps and stuff to like get to the end. And I really
That's
like
clever.
that mechanic. It's sometimes infuriating because you're wearing this bracelet around your neck that like will explode if you wander too far off a certain path that you're supposed to be on, but it's also really fun too. I'm just gonna answer the rest of them quick just to keep rolling. Least favorite Pokey Lantern. Sorry, Jacob. Probably Zubat for real because he's just annoying and useless.
Yeah, Zubat's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And best storyline for me is a tie between the first BioShock and The Last of Us. So,
Always storyline for like a game.
yeah, game storyline.
That's rough.
Or
That's
most
gonna be hard.
fun, most exciting. However you define best storyline.
Okay.
So
I
should
would say-
roll through that and then.
Yeah, I would say least favorite Pokemon is either what's that? The one that Bellsprout evolves from.
Oddish?
Like Victory Bell?
No, it's not Victory.
Weeping Bell. It's
Bellsprout.
Bellsprout, Weeping
is
Bell,
the-
Victory
Weeping
Bell.
Bell. Yeah, I hate
love
those.
Weeping. He's the most derpy looking
I hate,
Pokemon.
like-
I hate Weeping Bell. And I'm not a huge fan. Who's the other one? There's another one. I wasn't a
say
huge
Trubbish.
fan of. I was about to just to troll, to tilt, but
What about Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice is pretty
Ooh,
bad.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice.
I just hate those
Ice
Lake
cream
Lazy or
cone.
Klefki. Like,
I like Klefki.
Klefki
Cool.
that was pretty bad.
I like
For me,
Klefki.
worst Pokemon is one where I see
Makes
it for the
sense.
first time and I'm like,
really?
like, how far? It's like that meme, like, how far will God test us? And you see that?
Best storyline, I would say. Oh, that's tough.
That's really tough. There's so many good stories in games.
I think, just like a couple off the top. I think, from a sheer open-endedness, I really liked Breath of the Wild, just because there's like a narrative, but there's not like a specific story that you're experiencing. There's just kind of set pieces that you go through, but it's all to the end goal of the final fight, which I thought was pretty cool. Definitely Mass Effect 1 through 3 because it's basically a 3-part story, and there's like
Odyssey through
theories
space.
about how there's subliminal things happening to the main character through each of the games that then culminate in what ended up being the ending for 3, even though people hated it. It wasn't bad. They just didn't get it. So, indoctrination.
I'm
bad, you're just dumb.
Indoctrination
like,
theory.
you're wrong. I'm right. I know what I'm talking about.
If you go and you watch the indoctrination theory videos of Mass Effect 3, it
I need to
is
play all three of them.
it is like
yeah.
even if you didn't, the evidence is like scarily cohesive, to the point where there's only like maybe 3 out of like 15 or 20 pieces of evidence that people are used that are like stretches, and people acknowledge like this is kind of a stretch. You could read into this, but there's like specific things that are just very like that doesn't seem like laziness to me. Like that there's no way they've worked this hard on this whole game series and then they did something that stupid. Like it doesn't make sense. So anyway, Mass Effect 1 through 3, Breath of the Wild, and then from just sheer holy frick what just happened would be BioShock Infinite. The ending for that game.
That messes with your mind.
Yeah, that was
It's-
that's probably my third.
Yeah, that was
Or second.
Whoa, that was a mind trip. So yeah, that was another good one.
Cool.
But
Wait, I need to
I think
answer.
that's the gist. No, I was just making sure there's anything else. Yeah,
Okay.
what you got?
Least favorite Pokey and best
Least favorite
storyline.
Pokemon storyline. Trubbish is my least favorite Pokemon. I'm not ashamed
Alright.
to say it.
All right. I'll take it.
He is rubbish. He is trash.
I'll
You can
take
push your socialist Phil agenda on me,
I'll take it. That's
but
fine.
I'm against it.
It's fine.
I'm standing against it.
Nothing
I'm a rebel.
personal. It's nothing personal.
We stand in anti-trubbish.
Yeah, I just remember playing, because actually Black and White was one of the first Pokemon games I like when I got back into Pokemon after like years of not playing. I remember seeing that being like, what were they thinking? What were they
What was
thinking?
that noise?
That was my phone.
Oh, okay.
I have the crash gem sound. Best storyline, that is really, really hard for me because I solely play games for story.
Totally forgot
It's really
Persona
hard.
4. I'd
Oh
throw
yeah,
that in there.
that's
Persona
probably.
4
I
is
think
like,
Infinite and Persona 4 are
Yeah.
probably 2 and 3.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd say I'm gonna say Fire Emblem for the first, just because like that is a game that's still my favorite game of all time, and that's one where like even though I know the twist and happens in the storyline, I have played that game I think 5 times through, and it never gets old. Like I've realized that every time I play through it, I still enjoy the story, even though I know the twists, I know the ultimate ending and whatnot. It's like that stands as a good narrative if it every time you go back to it, you still enjoy it. Second, probably just any Persona game. 3, 4, and 5 are so different in what they accomplish with their narratives. For right now, I would say 5. I would have to like go back and play through 3 and 4 just to like cement my case,
Refresh.
but I would say 5 just because like I'm 95 hours in and it still had me hooked. Whereas like I know 3 and 4, both of them, like even at like I think for both of them I plugged in about 50 hours and it started dragging at some points. Versus 5, like just that entire time I've just not lost interest whatsoever, and just the character development too. 3 would probably go to The World Ends With You.
Oh, I forgot about that
Yeah.
one.
That's coming. Is that coming out this year?
I think on the Switch.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to come
That
out. this
game-
year.
I'm def grabbing that.
Oh
it
my
makes
gosh.
one of the makes one of the douchiest like edgy characters in the game become like one of the most relatable people, and that's brilliant in terms of like I'm talking about Neku.
Yeah.
Who's
Bless you.
He starts off as just the most annoying, like, I hate the world and the world hates me, and you're just like, I have to play as him. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
But just the way the story unfolds and the other characters you meet in the world you're in, and it takes place in Japan too, so it's also nice. But and the designs and everything, but like, yeah, just everything about that game, just the story progression and the growth for each of the main characters is just like almost unrivaled compared to most stuff. That's why like I put Persona ahead of it, 'cause Persona's the only other one that does it better, I think. So yeah, that's it. Fire Emblem, Persona, the Persona games, specifically Persona 5, then World Ends With You.
Cool.
So yeah.
How much time? What are we looking at here?
50.
50. Do we want to just do a quick news run through and then
Muppet News Flash.
do Isle of Dogs maybe next week?
I mean,
Since- or unless
we
it's
could-
just gonna be quick.
Yeah, because I think it's one of
'Cause
those
it's getting
films that
kinda
we
late,
would
too.
say, yeah. I
Just
think
go watch. You have to experience it yourself.
if you know anything about Wes Anderson, or you've watched movies like Grand Budapest Hotel or
Moonrise Kingdom,
Fantastic,
especially Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Mr. Fox, you'd appreciate it. I don't think it's a movie I would recommend to everybody, just because the style of humor, the narrative, some of the things they do
That's true.
from a creative side, from like actual film, is like fantastic. Fantastic and very unique, especially for the past couple years of just movies not doing that. But from a like to the masses kind of movie, it's gonna be a more niche audience. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, like if you're not a Wes Anderson fan or you're not familiar with this, I mean, this would be like a good gateway film too, because like it's if you don't like
That's
it,
true.
then you're
Yeah, that's
not
true.
a Wes. Like you probably won't like Wes Anderson stuff, but that's why it's hard for me, because I remember there was one specific YouTuber that like really not he hated the movie, but just was not a fan of it. But he specifically said he doesn't like Wes Anderson, so I was like,
So why
that
you're
kind
not
of
gonna like
that kind of
this.
negates the opinion. I mean, it offers criticism that like you can be like, okay, well, like outside of Wes Anderson, is this still a good movie?
Yeah.
But that that already puts on a bias where you're like, then your opinion's like inherently going to be negative, no matter what you say. But we still offer good opinions on it. But yeah, I am a Wes Anderson fan. He's my favorite director, and Fantastic Mr. Fox is my second favorite movie of all time. So going in, I actually had really high expectations because I told Josh it combines 4 things: Japan, dogs, animation, and Wes Anderson all into one movie. All 4 things that I love dearly. So I was like, This better be good, and I was not disappointed in the least. The animation was probably the most
It was
standout
pretty
aspect.
crazy. Yeah, it was
like
crazy.
stop motion animation, it's inherently is like I think the people say is like one of the most difficult forms of animation because it's just so tedious in its task. And Wes Anderson's style is specifically like having each frame, like everything lined up perfectly in each shot, and the way he does it. There's so many memorable scenes and so many memorable quotes, and yeah, I could gush about it for a long time. But if you have the opportunity, there's there is a limited release, so it is kind of hard to see it. But if you have the opportunity, please check it out just to see, test the waters of Wes Anderson. And I think even if you're not a fan of that directing style, and even for like the general populace, you should give it a shot because there is a high chance you'll end up liking it because it's such an interesting film. So yeah, I Love Dogs. Go check it out.
Cool.
What else we got on here?
These are some
share
things
your big news?
I was
Do it.
wait, which one?
Oh, you know.
Oh, well,
Fire breather.
Get him, poetic. Fire breather, poetic.
breathe.
You breathe fire, poetic.
Quick before I
Propane.
jump into that, two things I'm pretty excited for is Batman Ninja comes out.
I heard it's really good, actually.
Yeah, it's got like a 9.8 on IGN.
which is really crazy to me.
So that looks really good.
Yeah.
It's like a Japanese Batman, basically.
Mhm.
Batman gets like somehow transported into feudal Japan, and
And the Joker.
Because
the
reasons.
Joker,
And
and
Harley
basically
Quinn.
his whole rogues gallery
Yeah.
is there. And they released a trailer for the new Fahrenheit 451 movie on HBO, which looks intense. The main character is Michael B. Jordan, so it looks pretty intense.
Who played Killmonger in Black Panther?
Yeah.
BT Dubs.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the movie things. And then big news this week. Two big news games actually. One was I think announced before was Spider-Man for the PS4
Yes.
is officially
finally.
coming out September. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. And that statue and steelbook and stuff. It's
Yup.
yeah.
How much is that going to be?
150.
You going to invest? Do you think?
Well, I get 20% off, and
Ooh,
then
yeah.
it's right around my birthday. It's like not too far after, so I might try and swing that as.
Boom.
Your
It's like it's
birthday
Spidey.
gift.
Like
So yeah,
He is like
it's,
your-
that's my
yeah.
boy.
it's
That's true.
it's by Insomniac.
Yep.
Same
So
people
they
made Sunset and Ratchet and Clank and
and
stuff.
Sunset Overdrive.
So
And
it will be
it's
good.
The
a
footage that they've
massive-
shown, if you're interested in checking it out, if you liked the Batman Arkham games, it's basically a Spider-Man version of the Batman Arkham games.
But probably
fighting
more
style.
fluid in terms
Yeah.
of movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks freaking awesome.
Apparently, they said the world is like 10 times the size of Sunset Overdrive.
Whoa,
I've never played that game.
it's
but,
pretty
wow.
big.
but it
It's
sounds like it's
sizable.
gonna be a huge open world. A lot of the web slinging. But
What's
there's
the-
also
like?
fast travel.
Here's the
so
question though.
You can like go on the subway and fast
Do I
travel.
get to
too.
deliver a pizza on this one?
That would be dope.
Do you know? Oh, you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about.
You talking about Borderlands?
No.
Oh, okay.
No Borderlands story.
Where you deliver pizza to
Border-
the
yeah.
turtles?
No, one of the most popular memes from Spider-Man is in Spider-Man 2. There's this like I think it's like the opening scene or something. He like delivers a pizza, and there's just a famous meme video of the Spider-Man PlayStation 2 game has like this awful cover of like the and so like they put that over that scene, and it is a joy to watch. It's a wonderful thing. So that's why people are always like, but Spider-Man delivers the pizza. That's his best arc. It's like
That'd be pretty funny. So yeah, that's Spider-Man. I've been seeing online people aren't very happy with the suit. What is your opinion on the White Spider?
I think it looks
Because
awesome.
everybody's mad because he's never had a White Spider before.
So exactly why they should do a White Spider.
Yeah,
Like
and
this
people
isn't-
said there's actually a reason in the game. Like they just have to wait to play it to figure out why his suit is the way it is.
I think
So,
it's awesome. Like
yeah.
that's one of those things where I get so mad because they would be just as mad as if they would have given him the old school retro style suit.
Yeah.
So to
yeah,
me,
like why didn't you update the
Well,
yeah,
here's
it's
design?
like,
and give
here's
us
why
the
did you
thing-
update the design, make it modern? It's like, why didn't you use the old one? It's like, just shut up, ignore
Well,
them.
here's the
I
thing
don't
I'm
care.
excited for. I feel like it's gonna have a lot of suits. I
Yeah,
feel like,
that-
I feel like
that's
you're
yeah,
gonna-
well, it has-
teased.
I feel like
you
you're
can-
gonna get to
yeah.
choose which suit you want
You
eventually.
get like the
and,
punk Spider-Man stuff like that.
Yeah, the punk
Because
suit
they
and stuff.
did that with that was the one thing. If it wasn't as bad as I heard it was, the Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 games that they released. I think in 2 you could collect there were things you could do to collect all the different Spideyverse suits. So you could get
Nice.
like the 2044 one, which is like
Isn't
from
that
the
your favorite one,
future.
technically?
I think that one's pretty cool.
I like
Miles-
the Iron Spider. suit
the Iron
looks dope.
Spider.
Yeah.
I think the Miles Morales, like his is probably my favorite
Yeah.
one.
Speaking of which, also there was a trailer for that
Yes,
you missed.
that's been around for a while, but
The animated movie with Donald Glover as Miles Morales Spider-Man.
No, it's
and
not Donald
like,
Glover.
Is it? I
it's
thought
not-
it was.
No, I looked it up when I saw it, and
But
people
it's
were.
like
I think he's gonna be in it, possibly, but no, it's not him. Sadly,
He
Yeah.
was front running the Deadpool animated show, but they canceled that.
yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's like they had a trailer at Isle of Dogs for the Spider-Man. It's actually
it's like
a
the Spider-Man
multiverse movie
Yeah,
with
that
all
looks
the different
dope.
Spider-Mans. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think there's even a Punk Spidey in that or something.
yeah, there's
'Cause I
there's
think
all
they're
sorts of
integrating it
ones.
with the comics too, and there's
Mhm.
like
There's like a
it looks
noir
dope.
stuff. There's all
I-
sorts
yeah.
of.
it's funny. I actually watched a video about like this. It's one of those comic channels or whatever, and they talked about it was like a 3-4 minute video summarizing like the Spider-Man multiverse series. I don't know how comics get that. Like people complain about some stuff. Like I'm not saying like Kingdom Hearts is flawless, but I just think of an example of like Kingdom Hearts is a very, very confusing, weird storyline, but at the same time, look at Spider-Man multiverse. It is.
oh yeah, comics in general
What
is
the
just
frick?
insane.
It's
Like,
everywhere.
It is
Yeah.
everywhere. Which I mean, like,
which people love and people hate.
yeah,
exactly.
and I don't blame him for that though, because like
Yeah.
Spider-Man, he's been going around since the 1960s. So
Mhm.
I not really complaining, more just like acknowledging that like their video games are not the only medium, or certain video games aren't the only medium to have like confusing, weird storylines.
Definitely.
It'll be everywhere.
The game looks dope though. I
Yes.
think it's gonna be a
Can't wait.
blast. That'll probably be one I pick up
Yep.
right away.
Then the other game.
The other game is Spyro, the
Spyro.
Reignited trilogy. So it's a remaster of the first 3 games. I forget what they're called, but yeah, it's gonna be
It's
awesome.
like 1, 2, something returns. I can't remember whoever the main villain
Spyro
is.
1, Spyro 2.
Something returns. I can't remember what the villain guy is, but and then the third one is You're the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
So,
So a lot
It's
of
gonna be
childhood
awesome.
nostalgia there.
oh yes,
And the
yes,
the up-res graphics, actually not up-res, completely built from the ground up graphics,
So,
look amazing.
The side by
And they
side
didn't use the
comparison.
derpy Skylanders
All
Spyro
that
either.
Yeah, they're bringing like the actual Spyro
Yeah, they got
back.
like that one. He looks.
I appreciate it a lot. I
it
miss
just
that
looks freaking amazing.
I missed that Spyro
Yeah.
quite a bit.
So I'm really hyped for that. I'm definitely picking that up. Chances are I might wait for the Switch version just because I feel like it'd be fun
It's probably gonna be a while
to do
I feel
portable.
like.
So yeah, maybe I'll
Definitely.
buy it for PS1, PS4, play it for a while, sell it, and then wait for the Switch.
That's what
That's
I
what I
did
did with Crash.
Yeah, that's what I did too with Crash. I mean, Crash was still fun though.
Yeah,
I've always been. We were just talking about this recently between Josh and I. Like, I was always more of a Crash fan. Josh was more Spyro, but I appreciate both.
yeah.
quite a bit,
They both have
so.
their different merits.
Exactly.
Like Crash is definitely more like platformy, whereas Spyro is more like a platformer, open
Exploration,
world
yeah.
exploration mix,
Mhm.
sort of.
I kind of miss the days when there were mascots like that because there. I mean, I specifically remember commercials, where it was Spyro and Crash were the mascots, the way like Mario was for Nintendo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That Spyro and Crash were.
Isn't there
Sony's
some where
go-to.
Crash is actually like trolling Mario or something, and he's like outside?
Yeah, he like-
Nintendo
yeah, he, like, goes
headquarters
to
and he's
Nintendo-
like dancing, and he's like, "Arr."
Yeah, he like went on Nintendo headquarters. I think it was when the first Crash was getting released.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
He like comes out of the golf cart. I remember because he has to make fun. He's like, "Hey there, plumber boy." It's like making any fun games recently. Like, it was pretty clever.
They should get back to that.
Well,
Yeah.
they did that for the remastered trilogy.
But I mean,
That
just
was like
even,
the like the mockery and making fun of.
no, not
Just-
even
just, like,
necessarily
poking
like
fun
just.
at each other.
Well, I do want that. That would be more fun. But I think even just having characters
Or
like
just
that
having
again,
mascots.
Oh,
because I
mascots.
mean they've kind of done that with Horizon. Like that's kind of their new franchise. I mean they
They
have like
still have
Kratos,
Kratos,
and
yeah.
God of War and stuff like that. But just characters like Spyro and Crash, where it was like a household name the way Mario. And
Well, like
Donkey
memorable
Kong and-
character designs are kind of a dime and a dozen now these days, compared to back in the day when you
Especially
had.
when you just have games with people in them. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just a person.
Or it's not even just games of people, but that the most popular games are games of just people.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I sorry.
Yeah.
You're
Not-
both wrong.
Not
You're
that.
both wrong. We need more animals.
Not the point you made,
More
but exactly the
animals.
point you just made.
I mean,
that's
your
why I
2
love
cent titanium tax doesn't go too far enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's why I love Overwatch so much, is because every
Yeah.
character is so
Yep.
distinctly different from each other, and they stand out
Mm-hmm.
compared to
Yeah.
other. That's why I love.
Yeah.
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 What else is in the news?
So
I think that's pretty much it.
I also put
Firewatch. I saw is
Firewatch
coming out.
and the studio Campo Santo, who made Firewatch, they announced that Firewatch is coming to the Switch, which I think is a fun game. I'll probably buy it for the Switch and play it again. it's really short, and it's kind of just, people call it a walking simulator, but I think that's just a derogatory term for the type of game it is. It's more of just like an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you're experiencing a narrative, and there's not as much else going on. Like, the point is to experience the story.
Right.
I thought it was a good story, and it's coming out for the Switch. And their future game, which is called like In the Valley of the Gods, which is like a 1930s Egypt type exploration story-driven game. So it looks fun.
Nice.
If it's like $60, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Because I got it on Steam for like $3. But if it's like a $20, $30 game, I might.
Oh yeah,
grab it.
definitely.
So
Sweet.
other than that, there's not a whole lot else going on right now.
That's pretty much it.
Stuff is building. I feel like everyone's waiting for E3.
Yeah, there's a lot of
E3
rumors
stuff.
flying around. CD Projekt Red has been confirmed to be showing up. I think there's talk of what Nintendo's going to be releasing, like that they're going to focus on current stuff, but then also they're going to have to do Smash Bros. News just because.
Please give me.
Well, if it's coming out this year, they need to show some. I think that was what I heard from people that I can agree with. Like, if it is a new game, or even if it is like even if they're porting
probably
the
new
Wii U
characters,
one,
new features.
They need to new character, and they have to show some demo of like gameplay.
Yep.
Because that would be dumb to go in being like, "Yep, we're making it," and then that's it. Just like, you know,
and they
another
know that Nintendo I think has finally come around to understand their fan base, and they're slowly
working their
being
way up.
They're
better.
getting there. They're working.
They're working on it.
From a business sense, and I think I've grown to just kind of appreciate it more, being in that industry of like marketing and understanding. Like, you can't, even with art, you can't give people what they want, because then they get the idea in their head that you just start bending at their whim, and then they'll just keep screaming louder and threats and blah blah blah. So they're doing what is making business sense, and I think they're going to drop some extreme knowledge that is going to be not everything that people want, but is going to be enough to have people salivating and dying for the release date.
Yeah.
My prediction is that they're going to give a release date at E3.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to lose their minds.
Release date, new character,
and
demo.
then maybe like a new character or two.
Oh, that'd be great.
I just want Pokemon.
Yeah, some Pokemon news.
Like,
would be good,
as soon as they announce the Pokemon thing, Switch sales are gonna skyrocket.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's tons of people I know that are just saying like, I'm buying a Switch. I'm just waiting for Pokemon to be confirmed.
Yeah.
So
just
like,
tell us something, anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty stoked.
E3 is gonna be awesome this year.
Definitely.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Well,
So yeah, that's all the news we got for this week.
we'll just
It was
wrap it up
mostly a
here.
fun cast with
Yeah.
a little bit of news sprinkled in.
Yeah. You can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. I'm still working. I'm trying really hard to get the files are so freaking huge for these things that it takes like a couple hours to upload one.
Yeah.
So the library is going to take a while to get up there, but slowly but
As
surely.
long as we got the most recent ones up for now. And
Yeah. So I'll chip away at them.
Cool.
But
thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah.
And if you want stickers, shoot us some
shoot
questions
those-
at popculturepunks@gmail.com.
Yep.
That was a short version.
Yeah.
Shoot us a shout out.
Please
shoot us
email
with your
us.
shout
We
outs.
enjoy it.
Shout outs.
Thanks, Jake, for the email. We basically had this whole episode because of your questions. So
Yep.
we
Sorry
had no
if we
idea what we were
incriminated
gonna
you in anything.
Yeah.
Captain
Be like,
Underpants.
really, guys?
Thanks for writing our episode today.
Yeah, basically.
Why don't you come on the show?
This episode brought to you by JP. Thanks,
JP.
buddy.
JP Morgan.
JP.
No.
JP.
Stinky Panky.
Stinky stanks.
All right.
Well,
Catch you on the flip. Bye.
bye-bye. Bader.
Voices in my heart tell me to throw it all away, to toss it in the wind and forget yesterday. But the crowd comes singing back with that same old song. You've got bills you've gotta pay. What about job security? But I've been dreaming about packing it all up, 'cause the war in me just won't relent till there's nothing left but dust. So what do you do when the walls start closing in and everyone you love tells you it's all just in your head? And I wanna burn out in a brilliant burning place. Don't wanna be stifled by the Teaching every